Robert Thornton. Ladies and gentlemen, the former champion of the world, the Bullet, Stephen Bunting.
About the bed, the bed's a winner, well a bed, bed is a winner, well a bed, well a bird is a winner, well a bed, the bed's a winner, well a bed, well a bird is a winner, well a bed, the bed's a winner, well a bed, the bed's a winner, well a bed, well a bird is a winner, well a bed, the bed's a winner, well don't you know about the bird, well everybody knows that the bird is a winner, well a bed, the bed's a winner, well a
Two more games to come for you on the opening day of the Czech Darts Open here in Prague. We've got a clash of a world champion and a former world master, Stephen Bunting, and he won the Lakeside 5 years ago against the all-time great Robert Thornton. Robert Thornton in a new dart shirt, apparently, after he's cut back on the smoking, put a bit of weight on. So the trademark Thorn shirt, a little bit tight. So he's gone for this one. I like these ones. It's like sports Thornton with real grippable hands. He takes on the Bullet, Stephen Bunting. Peter Wright is the man who awaits the winner. They've already played once this year, these two. The Thorn won it. It wasn't a great game. It was a bit scrappy. But they've both been inconsistent this year. One day in particular, the Thorn was on fire, made a semi-final on the tour. And Stephen has had his moments this year, even if he has had a lot of first-round exits as well. Paul Nicholson in the commentary box for the Bullet and the Thorn for a spot in round 2 of the Czech Darts Open.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of respect between these two legendary players in my eye. But there will be a bit of steely determination as well, because somebody's going to play a snakebite in the next round. And Robert Thornton, on his return to the European Tour, get himself a win over Stephen, who's been in and out of the seeds all season.
Stephen to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, I really struggle to gauge exactly where Bunting is with his game. Sometimes he looks really on it, but
100.
Other times just not convincing at all, and it's reflected in his results this year. You see him, he's averaging about 92.5 in the
45.
floor tournaments, and that only just puts him in the top 50 in the averages, and yet he had a run to a final. He's had the odd run to last 16s.
100.
So he's actually getting results, even though he's perhaps not playing his best stuff. Similarly, on the European Tour, he's made the final day more than once. And yet,
46.
it's not been his best. And he just doesn't seem to be able to put those high 90 averages back to back to back to back, which you're going to have to do to win titles. And he has won titles in the PDC, of course. So it's difficult to gauge.
96.
I think it's difficult to gauge exactly where he is with his game. Certainly talking a good game at the minute.
I think that's very fair. He's almost, in footballing terms, winning ugly and scrapping results out,
66.
really grinding at the minute, and that's got to be applauded, because when you're grinding in darts, it really messes with your brain, because you feel it's there, but the statistics sometimes don't lie.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the run he did have to the final on the Pro Tour, he did throw some really good stuff. He had 3 ton-plus averages, beat the likes of Adrian Lewis, Corey Cadby, Jelle Klaassen, Jamie Hughes. I mean, it's a really superb run from him. Double 14. Puts him 1-0 up.
Stephen Bunting, second leg is Robert to throw first. Game on.
Boy, is that a good settler. And when the draw came out, I'm sure Stephen, his first thought, as Robert gets a Robin Hood, and it's like that dart didn't even exist. It was blocking the 60, but apparently it wasn't, because Robert just went up and planted it anywhere. Yeah, when the draw came out, Stephen probably thought,
96.
oh, well, Robert had a big run recently, and he got a 9 darter, so this is a tough one. I mean, it's never easy to play Robert anyway, because he's so determined. But after he's had that kind of a confidence booster, it's probably not the best time to play Robert.
Yeah, I mean, the Thorn himself, that run to the semi-final has been a standout day for him in a year where, to be honest, there have been a lot of first-round exits for him. You'd say that Stephen Bunting has been the more consistent of the two of them. And this is only the second time we've seen Robert on the European Tour so far this year.
Well, the people were starting to talk, weren't they, about Robert potentially is on the wane, and so he's lost his form, he's lost his way. Well, then he starts putting things right, and then he puts in that run where he beat Michael van Gerwen. He had the 9 darter.
Oh, he was spectacular that day, Robert Thornton. It was just, it was like he ran out of steam towards the end of the day. Lost out in the semi-finals. That was in Barnsley.
152.
Beaten by Max Hopp in a last leg decider. Hopp was beaten by Harry Ward, and you have to say, with the way that Thornton was playing, had he come through that game with Max, he'd have made him the favourite to win that final.
16.
Oh, Stephen has inadvertently left double 8.
That's
a really good kill.
Stephen Bunting.
And in this match,
Stephen to throw first. Game
technically
on.
3 doubles for 2.
150%, not bad.
He's no Ricky Evans, who was 9 for 7 a couple of events ago.
Ricky Evans has been here
96.
in preparation for his game tomorrow. Rapid Ricky, the number 9 seed here this weekend. He will face Ted
55.
Everts, who was hugely impressive tonight in beating Krzysztof Ratajski.
Yeah, good game that from Ted. He was cheered on by his socks. Had the I Love Prague socks on. So I wonder what he's going to be donning tomorrow. Who's going to be donning their dart shirt tomorrow out of these two?
125.
Snaky awaits the 5th seed. And he's full of beans at the minute after winning the World Cup.
Certainly is.
100.
Right now, there's only one player who's turned up in this one. The bullet has shot off into the distance and left the Thorn in the starting gates.
123.
Well, his first dart in this match, Robert, has not been his best. And he got it right there. You can see that he's able to compound it.
94.
He needs to start getting that first dart right. That's short. It's a bit shouldery, that one. Just come out the hand too late. And when you're searching for trebles because your first dart isn't
41.
right, that's where things can
Stephen
really go bad.
92.
Well, does he go the aggressive route? He does. He paid off by giving him 2 darts at the double, but he can't hit either of them.
Oh, he fancied it, didn't he? If he gets to 57,
139.
he gets a shot at his fave, which is tops. When he's on song, he's probably the best tops hitter in the world. He ain't getting a shot at tops though. Or double 9, which he left himself. As Bunting's halfway to victory.
3-0 for Bunting. They've only met 5 times before, which I thought they'd have met more than that. Their highest profile meeting was at the World Grand Prix. That was won by Stephen Bunting. The World Grand Prix, of course, one of the titles the Thorn famously won. 3 major titles, being the best player in that code in the world at the time on the way.
Where would you rate that final performance from Thornton in that Grand Prix win? In impressive final performances.
Look, it's not the greatest display I've ever seen in a final, but the fact is Van Gerwen was making it close, went all the way to a last set, and
45.
Particularly the back end of that match, double start format, the Thorn just kept on getting away. First dart, over and over and over again. And Bunting, over and over, is pounding the treble 20. Because that is 6 perfect darts for the Bullet. The Thorn has hit a 9-darter in competitive action this year. Can Stephen Bunting join him and hit a 4th perfect leg on the Euro Tour?
Wrong treble, Stephen. Still in a fabulous position,
24.
even after that 24. Still in the driving seat. I'll tell you what, if you want a really good double start game to watch back in history, when Robert played Phil Taylor, I think it was the year
91.
that Michael van Gerwen won the tournament. Try that one. That is a proper game of darts. Now, Thornton's on the big fish, and he needs this to catapult himself into this match.
170.
I've seen huge checkouts today. Can we see another one of these? Not on this occasion.
Too many times when he has hit the 60, it's gone in the right corner. He's had to move along the hockey. He's not in rhythm. As a result, it's more shots at double for Stephen. Double 10, which is missed. And invites Thornton in. Get the feeling if Stephen takes that 60 out, that's curtains. However, Thornton has the bull.
41.
And that one's in Aviemore
20.
as opposed to Glasgow.
More opportunities for a double break and 4-0. Oh my word.
No score.
Well, he's gone off the right side of the barrel, but it just wouldn't quite find its way in.
No way, Robert's going for 45. Old Faithful.
25.
It's not very faithful.
Stephen, you require 20.
He started this leg with 6 perfect darts, Stephen Bunting. He might need 19, 20, 21 to kill it off.
Game shot on the 4th leg.
Well, he does pin it.
5th leg is
And he's got all those chances by virtue of his scoring, but you can tell by his face that he's not particularly happy, even though he's 4-0 up.
Does that leg tell us a lot about where Stephen's game's at? So you've got 6 perfect to start, and then there's a stutter.
Well, it's just inconsistent, isn't it? And look, if you only have to go and look through the stats, where Stephen Bunting,
96.
in the first sort of 12, 13 events of the year, he had a quarter-final, a last 32, and just first round, failure to qualify for Euro Tours over and over again. He'd won less than 10 grand in a sort of 2-month spell. But since then, it's regularly getting on the Euro Tours, sometimes in the seedings, but there's the final there, regularly in last 16s of tournaments, and he's picking up thousands. He's made more than 3 times that amount of money in the 2 months that have followed.
100.
And I think that probably gives an indication that things are on the up for the Bullet.
I can say from experience, Dan, that when you are constantly
60.
winning your board on the tour, that really does inflate the confidence, because you feel, I win this board, I want the opportunity in the last 16 to go at somebody from another board, and you become the boss of the board. That's something that Robert used to do all the time, and it's not happening as much at the minute, but this hasn't been happening in the match. That first dart was perfect.
132.
Still, it's Bunting in the driving seat.
That's a blocker dart. Can he get through to it? Well, he stands so far over on the right normally. Here he's going over to the left. I mean, this is a ridiculous dart if it finds the target.
Yeah, I think in the cube sense of things, he needed to simplify that one.
Yeah. But he's still favourite for the leg.
Just hasn't happened for Robert today.
40. Stephen, you require 31.
All dart players have off days. It's unfortunate for Robert that it has been the now. And Stephen Bunting is showing zero mercy.
6 seconds, Robert to throw first. Game on.
Well, we've seen a number of 6-0s over the course of today. Willie O'Connor's produced one this evening against Vaclav Schieferdecker.
140.
I don't think you'd have picked this game out as a 6-0 either way at the start of the day.
When you're on the right side of it, you love it when they come along. Because if you can get yourself in the Saturday draw and expel
46.
the least amount of stress, you feel full of beans when you wake up Saturday morning.
I mean, it's solid stuff from Bunting, and that sort of 92 average is pretty much what he's been doing. He's climbed a couple of points there, but it's pretty much what he's been doing this year. And it's solid without being his best. Robert Thornton produces a 180. I'm surprised it's taken him this long, but it's just not really been going for him today.
Well, did you notice that 180 came where he didn't have to move once when he was in rhythm?
83.
That's much better from Robert. And the shackles are off for, well, we call him Chocolate. That's his affectionate nickname. Shackles are off for Rob now.
60.
That's where the tops will be. To stop himself from being bageled. Turns in. He's finally there.
Robert Thornton.
I've seen many times on the tour people going 5-0 up, and then all of a sudden the wheels start coming off and the other guy gets a bit of confidence and starts eking away.
Well, it actually happened at the weekend to the man we'll see in our final game of the night, Jamie Hughes, who was 5-0 up on Dave Chisholm and lost 6-5, incredibly, at the weekend. And it was, all of a sudden, Chizzy clicked into gear and dragged his average up from low 70s to, by the end of the game, mid-80s. So he must have been averaging high 90s for the rest of that match. Now, if Robert Thornton has suddenly clicked into gear here, Stephen Bunting is not safe, because, all right, he's played okay, but it's not been brilliant.
100.
You can just see the way that Rob is playing now. He looks more relaxed. Stephen is doing a great job right now of palming Robert off.
100. Stephen requires 121.
Well, a pair of 1-2-1 finishes. Bunting gets the first go at it. He will get a match start. It's double 14.
107.
Well, Robert Thornton knows all about hitting 1-2-1s under pressure. He did this to win the UK Open against Phil Taylor, but he didn't do that at Bolton. Stephen's coming back for a very awkward looking double 7.
Wouldn't surprise me if he split it.
85.
But he seems to have different
14.
plans on different days and in different tournaments. Going at it. And he's missed inside, and that was always the danger. Stephen Bunting, 2 more match darts miss. Thornton comes back, breaks the throw, 5-2.
Robert Thornton. He's making Robert to throw first.
Say one thing as well, Dan, I'm with you. I think that shirt suits Rob. Looks good in black.
Well, look, I mean, you're a player who likes the sports shirt with high performance microfibers. Anyway, you're one of the pioneers of those things, aren't you? The fancy ones. Certainly seen you modelling him in the catalogues.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was employed
93
to do a bit of pointing, bit of catalogue shooting with the old bag as well.
There's Zoolander Nicholson.
96.
They're very comfortable.
Yeah, all right. Not selling them now.
Just stating the fact. Well, that's the thing about dart shirts. I don't think they get, on the whole, the
81
praise that they deserve for how it has helped dart players to improve and feel more comfortable on a hot hockey. Do you remember
60.
those horrendous shiny shirts that Merv King used to wear? Those things weighed a ton.
Yeah.
But these things are very light, they're breathable, and even in these really hot conditions here in Prague, these guys are feeling quite comfy. And that's all down to the the shirts that they are choosing for themselves right now.
135.
Well, this game looks entirely different than it did 7 minutes ago, but the Thorn may have given himself too much to do.
100. Robert, you
I
require
don't know, because
70.
it's never happened to me. I've not lost from 5-0 up. Almost have once. But if Robert gets close and Stephen was to lose this match, he might need Dr. Phil.
50. Stephen require
But again,
127.
it's a 1-2-7. It was the 1-2-1 last time. Another dart for the match? Not this time. And Thornton can get within
99.
2
Robert,
this
you
time.
require 20.
Does leave that double 14 again. But it doesn't matter, because the Thorn, that's the first celebration we've seen from him, where I think he's forgotten.
Game on.
But he's still got a long way to go. He thinks he can win this now.
Well, importantly, Stephen's got the darts in this, and he started it perfectly. Yeah, that's 46 darts for the last 3 legs. That's pretty good. That's a dart under 100 average. Thornton cannot stay on Bunting's tail, and Stephen is going ballistic again. Maybe the adrenaline's just kicked in.
100.
There's a bit more ferocity in those darts.
10 points in the averages, but we've seen
58.
players lose with a higher average and 10 points clear. Well,
The first dart in this leg from Stephen has been flawless.
100.
It's been positively Paul Hinks.
Flawless Paul Hinks calling this game, and he might not have very much longer to do. Oh, needed all 3 of them to leave a finish.
Stephen require 121.
Bunting can go whatever route he wants. Doesn't need to use 11 and double 14 or the bull. Uses the bull first up. Beautiful darts. And seals it in style with a 12 darter. Excellent last leg from Stephen Bunting to shut out any possibility of a Thorn comeback. It was one-way traffic for much of the game, but a 95 average in the end for the Bullet. And the former Lakeside champion is safely through to round 2, where he will face Peter Wright. Just a one more game coming up for you. It is a cracker. Devon Peterson, the South African #1, has hit form of late. He has been chucking some wonderful stuff, but he goes up against Jamie Hughes, who's chucking wonderful stuff every time he toes the hockey.
Brilliant. Well, there we are. It looks as if that match was well and truly over, and yet Robert Thornton fought back. We'll just have a chat now with Stephen Bunting, who's through to our second round. Stephen, congratulations. It looked like a runaway train at one point.
I felt really good. I've been practicing really well at home with Kev Garcia, and everything's going in. 2 years ago, I was ready for quitting, and now I'm ready for fighting and bring it on.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, your reward in the second round is Peter Wright. Now, I don't know how your form is against Peter Wright, but he's just come back from winning the World Cup. Must be in a very, very, very high situation for Peter Wright. I mean, how would you rate your chances against an informed Peter Wright tomorrow?
Peter's a great player. It will be difficult, but he's not got Gary Anderson stuck behind him. It's Peter Wright. So we'll see how we go. Listen, I've got a good record against Peter. The first time when I come over, the latter stage, he's beat me a few times, so it's going to be a good game.
It is going to be a good game. We'll look forward to it. You're into the second round. Stephen Bunting, everybody. We'll see Devon Peterson of South Africa take on Jamie Hughes of England.